welcome and call to order this Creve Coeur School District number 76 Board of Education regular meeting on November 18th of 2014. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey.
Here.
Pam Greiner.
Here.
Brenda Cagle.
Here.
Val Reagan.
Here.
Julie Troop.
Here.
Rebecca Kern here. Judy Strong.
Present. Next on our agenda is student focused, and we turn that to you, Mr. Aldrich.
Great. This year, we have instituted or reinstituted or reconstituted, however you want to put it, a program where the Head Start kids that are over in the Litchfield building come over here and our students read to them. So what I brought for you today is Mr. McCormick and some of his 4th grade students, and they're going to tell us about this enriching program that they have started. So come on up, guys.
We use the microphone. Okay, I've got 3 of our 4th graders here from Mrs. Davis's class. I've got Brad Fuller, Alexis Piro, and John Bohannon. Okay, and I've asked each of them to tell you just a little bit about 2 things, what they've kind of gotten out of being able to read to the younger students.
Okay, give us your name.
My name is Bradley. My name is Bradley. And I'm in 4th grade. I was reading to the preschoolers, and I liked it when I had my attention.
Great. Good. John? You're next, buddy.
Just tell them something.
Oh, stay up here.
Okay.
Brad?
Read the yellow buckets.
Bradley, stay up here.
My name is Jonathan Bohannon. I'm in 4th grade. I like reading to the kids so they have better feelings about stuff to make them feel happy.
Great. All right. Stay up here. And Alexis?
My name is Alexis Piro. I'm in 4th grade. I think it's fun to read to them because I've wanted to read to little kids ever since I could read, and I finally got my chance to do it.
Great. All right, guys, all of you come up to the microphone here. All right, so what kind of books do the little kids like the best?
Do they like animal books?
Yes.
Yes.
I know they like short books.
Short ones? All right, all right. What kind of books, some of the books you guys have read to them?
I read a bug book today.
Bugs, all right.
So have I.
Okay.
I read a dog book to them.
The dog book? Like Clifford the Big Red Dog, or are you guys reading other kind of things?
Other kind of things.
Oh my gosh, okay. You guys are fully teaching these kids literature then. Sounds good. All right. Are you the only 3 that do it?
No, there's one more person that didn't make it.
Okay. All right. How'd you guys get picked?
We just raised our hand for our teacher.
Ah?
The teacher drew our numbers, and we told her if we wanted to do it or not.
Okay. Is this every week, every month, once a year? You guys know?
No, we don't
Okay.
know.
All right. Mr. McCormick?
Tends to be about every other week. It kind of depends on the schedule, and we get holidays and other things going on.
Sure, sure. All right. So is it fun? You guys like it?
Yes.
You like doing it? All right. Well, thank you for coming, you guys.
Yeah, guys.
Okay, now you gotta stay here because the next thing you're going to be excited about. This is Board Appreciation Week, and so what we've done is we have lots of thank yous for the Board of Education, and we have a certificate honoring each board member on School Board Members Day in 2014 for dedicated leadership in public education and continuing service to the children of this community. So thank you, Mrs. Bailey. Thank you, Mrs. Reagan. Thank you, Mrs. Strong. Thank you, Mrs. Kern. Thank you, Mrs. True. Thank you, Mrs. Cagle. And thank you, Mrs. Griner. You're welcome. And inside your audit, your annual financial reports, you'll find a number of cards and thank yous from different classes in the school district, and they made individual cards, and some of our classes did actual posters, so you can see those behind you from the Parkview students and from a couple other classes, and a really neat one from, geez, who was this? Miss Beal's class. And I know we taped it down, Mr. McCormick, I'm gonna pick it up. It looks like this, and if you look at it, she had her students lay down to form the letters to make the words thank you. All right? So, what I'd like to do is to grab Miss Patty, if she would. She did this last year. We also have, like we did last year, Stand Up for Public Schools is the theme for the School Board Association. So we went and got a cake from Costco because they said that's the best cake around. And what I'd like to do is get a couple slices for the kids before, in case they want to just get out of here and not stay for a whole long meeting, I'm sure. And then, as adults, I think we can hold off. Right, Mr. Bachler? You can hold off? All right. All right. You were looking at that cake pretty close. So, yes. Everybody take a piece before you go if you need to. So, we just want to say thank you to the Board of Education and for all the things that you guys do for this school district. And it's just our little token of appreciation. So.
One came in late, so let me open it for all of us. A mystery.
Whoa. Wow. Thank you for all you Stand Up for Public Schools. And who's the class? Do we have a teacher's name? Up there. Miss Gilmore and Miss Sharp. So from the third grade class. So Miss Gilmore's third grade class. Great. So even though we might just be at boring school meetings, we do let the kids know that the Board of Education is a piece of our school district, and we want to make sure that they have that idea. So being good citizens, it's a good focus and lesson for them.
That was really cute. So good job.
Oops. Yep. There might be some napkins. Oh, thank you. And that was all I had, Mrs. Strong, for those parts.
Okay. Next on the agenda is public participation. And through this time, we might also remind those in attendance that this is the time of the year for rising up and deciding to be on the Board of Education. There's a process to do that, an election to be done. Reward is lots of fun things like this, and doing a good job. So get the word out that an election is in the making. So there are 3 positions that are coming forth, and we sure would appreciate the community standing up and being accountable for their schools. So public participation, we usually do this one at a time. Please feel free to stand and speak your name and your subject for the night.
I would talk.
Okay?
As you guys know, we're doing Thanksgiving. The holiday helpers are doing Thanksgiving. We have 99 families this year. And I just want to thank the school board, Mr. Aldridge, and everybody for allowing us to use the schools and allowing us to showcase our kids and our community, because we've collected almost 1,600 items in a school district that has 70% poverty rate. So it just shows with our small community how much everybody cares. And when I say I thank everybody from the child that brings 1 canned good to the child that brings 1 penny. I don't care. That might be all they have, and that's fine with me. So again, thank you guys for helping me, and thanks for all the donations tonight and everything. I don't know how many kids we have for Christmas, but I'll let you guys know next month. It'll be over by then, because we give out the first weekend in December. So I'll let you know at the next meeting how many we have there.
Thank you, Mrs. Smallberger. Her and Amber Pilkington, thank you, head up those programs for us and have for many years, and have done a great service for our community.
Yep.
Other?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Patty, do you have enough for Christmas, or
We will. I always,
shoot out some emails?
I always question myself, but then this community always comes through.
Okay, well,
Been doing it for 20 years, so.
It's a donation box.
just send out an email like you did today if you need anything extra or specific
will.
stuff.
I will.
In the past, you had the donation box at several places in Creve Coeur. Are you still doing the library for the donation box?
Yeah, the
Okay.
library is collecting canned goods for us right now, and what's really funny is I put it on Facebook, and a lady that knows my daughter in Peoria Heights went to the grocery store, and now I've got to go to Peoria Heights to pick up canned goods for our families here. So,
That's very
That's
nice.
good.
so it actually, like I said, but I appreciate you guys. You have no clue. You called me today, you called today, you guys give me, every little bit helps.
Patty, I'll be in Peoria Heights tomorrow if you want me to pick
Huh?
up that stuff for you.
Yeah.
I'll be in the Heights tomorrow for business if you want me to
I
get that
don't,
stuff
I
for
have
you.
to, I can call you and let you know what time she's gonna drop it off.
Okay, well, I'll talk to you afterwards.
And the Girl Scouts were instrumental this weekend,
Yes,
correct?
they went out in the cold weather and got us canned goods. It's everybody, I mean, everybody in the community, from the businesses to the kids. The teachers are wonderful. I don't know many teachers that want 300 canned food items in their classroom, but that's what happens.
That's good.
So, any other public participation? Yes, Mr. Bach?
Yes, I just want to reiterate what Creve Coeur Lions Club, along with the community center, what Patty and Amber have been doing for this community For how many years, Patty, was it been?
We lost count.
Lost count. You started out at Homewood Heights. And you want to see something in action with the Christmas giveaway, or some of you who haven't seen the Thanksgiving giveaway that they had in this community going back probably like 12 years, maybe more, 15. But now they're doing the Christmas giveaway at the community center on December 6th or something like that. Howard is and all the needy families that come in and get items and things worthwhile. So a big salute to him and that for organizing this.
Any other comments or questions to present to the board?
And it's December 6th at the community center or Homewood?
It's gonna be at the community center.
Okay.
All right, moving on, we're going to results driven, principals awesome results.
And I'll turn it over to Mr. McCormick again. He can start us off this month. I just rotate. You're not being picked on.
Okay, I also wanted to kind of tag on with the Head Start readers. Another thing we've done with Head Start to work on integrating them into the school is we found some gym time for them since they don't have a big gym over there. We found time where it's only once a week, but once a week that morning class gets to come over, and once a week the afternoon class gets to come over, and it's kind of fun to see them parading down the hallway, down to the gym. They get big eyes when they get to the gym as they see what it's like, and that's good for them because they're getting more exposure to the school since in a year or two they're going to be here. Last Friday was the Fall Festival, and I know I saw a few faces in front of me there. We were pretty nervous because it was kind of a late plan, and had no idea. I know the base people put a lot of work into it. They weren't sure if anyone was going to show up, but we really had just a phenomenal turnout. A lot of kids on a cold night, and we had food and hot coffee and games in the gym and different things going on for them, and everybody just seemed to have a good time and enjoy themselves. Wanted to touch on our PBIS store is up and running, and I guess in the past they always did kind of the wings for a drawing, and we've instituted more of a store so they can actually earn wings towards buying things, and that's kind of fun for me because some of the favorite things are those things that are free, that we don't really have to go out and buy things for them. So couple of the favorites, especially with the younger ones, have been the opportunity to blow bubbles with me. And we actually sit that round table back in the corner for 10 minutes or so and blow bubbles. And also a chance to have me read them a story. But there's things like erasers and pencils and stuff that they get as well. Past 2 months I've hosted a coffee with the principal on the first Friday of each month. Turnout so far has been low, but I'm not giving up, okay? Hopefully it will increase, we'll get more people to come in, and really it's been a nice time to sit with a couple of parents and just chat about things, and it's all been very positive and a chance for me to learn about them in the community as well as them to learn about me, them to learn about sometimes why we do the things that we do. We have to do them. Sometimes those things aren't always clear to parents. So just having a couple parents there hasn't been a bad thing because we can really have good conversations. And then the last thing I wanted to mention were Christmas concerts coming up. That is Monday, December 15th. That is the kindergarten concert at 6, followed by the first and second grade concert at 7. And then on the 16th, the 3rd and 4th grade concert will be at 7 o'clock. That's all I have. Anything from me?
What day is the coffee with the principal?
It is typically the first Friday of each month.
Okay. This
month we actually had to move it because I had a meeting or something, but I know that the next one is December 5th.
What time?
8:30.
He brings good donuts.
For the parents in the community?
For the parents in the community, yeah. Whoever wants to show up.
Yeah.
And, you know, I understand it's kind of an awkward time. I've debated doing it at 6:30 in the morning, thinking I could catch some parents before work. But in the same sense, usually they're getting their kids ready for school then. So 8:30 was kind of the time when our kids could get into class, so things have settled down here. And it seems to have worked okay, it's just not well attended yet. So feel free to come by on the 5th.
Might be something to put in the monthly newsletter.
We do.
Oh, I didn't see it.
We don't put it in every one. It's like every other one because that one just went out.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
so it's a month away.
Right. Very good.
That's nice.
Thank you, Mr. McCormick.
Thank you.
Mr. Jokish, tell us about Parkview, please.
All right, good evening, everyone. Tonight at Parkview, we were having our 8th grade recognition night for our girls basketball team. It's our last home game of the season. And currently, the 8th grade team has a record of 15 wins and 4 losses. So congratulations to Coach Cole and Coach Thompson, and hopefully we will win a regional championship this year. I believe our 7th grade record is 7-9 right now. I'm very impressed with how much they've improved throughout the course of the year. They've just made huge strides from where they started at. So we always like to see that. This week Mrs. Turner is having after-school meetings with all our reading and math teachers to review for our RTI students, those individuals who struggle with reading and math. We call them Tier 2 and Tier 3 students, and they take Ames Web for progress monitoring weekly or bi-weekly. And so the teachers meet quarterly to review where the progress is, what gains are being made. And if there aren't gains being made, then we schedule problem-solving meetings to determine what we can do to help these individuals. So it's a lot of time on their part, and I appreciate them taking that time to do it. And Mrs. Turner does a great job. This Friday, Mrs. Millicent and Miss Schulman are having their Thanksgiving dinner with the Multiple Possibilities classroom. This is where the students prepare the meal, invite the parents in. It's always a nice activity that we're happy to be able to do that. Tomorrow night, teachers are meeting to plan for the all-day reading day, which is next Tuesday. This is just, we try to do this, we've kind of made it annually on the day before Thanksgiving each year. Because that's kind of a day where kids are more focused on getting out for breaks, so we wanted to kind of do something to get kids excited about coming to school. And we just use that as an opportunity to promote reading and literacy. This is where social studies teachers, math teachers, everybody, they do something reading related within their classrooms to place an emphasis on the importance of reading. PACE is making popcorn next Tuesday, and we have the class competition going on. And that's always a fun day. Usually I get tortured into doing something. Nothing's been decided for me yet. Student council's usually very good about coming up with this. In the past they said I'd spend the day on the roof, dress up as a Packer fan. This year they had me dressing up as a woman. So we're gonna come up.
Water dunk tank or anything like that?
I'd be okay with that. The leg waxing, not so much. Yeah, we're going to come up with something different to torture me on this day. And also next Tuesday we'll be kicking off or introducing, each December we have our Christmas Warrior Way celebration, where PACE and this year's Student Council has donated. They donate money to for a giveaway. This year we're going to give away 2 Apple iPad minis. So one will be given to the 5th and 6th grade, one will be given to the 7th and 8th grade. And just the purpose behind this is December can be a tough time, an emotional time for some students. So we want to keep kids focused and reemphasize being responsible, being respectful, and being safe. So as they earn Warrior Bucks for being responsible, respectful, and safe, they can put their names in the drawing for a chance to win that. So we're happy to be able to do that. Thanks to PACE and Student Council for providing that, and also thanks to PACE and Student Council for the Fall Festival. We had several Student Council members who worked that. They did a nice job interacting with the LaSalle students, so that was great to see.
That really was. That was a great idea, bringing the parents group and the student council from the junior high into this, and the junior high kids really loved the interactions with the little kids, doing the games and all of the little stuff that was going on. So it was a great interaction to see, and I'll be the first to admit, and I have readily admitted, I was skeptical about the whole thing and didn't see it really working or even being worth the time and effort, but I have to eat my words. It was
Those kids had a blast.
greatly attended. Ms. Cagle, what?
Those kids had a blast in that gym.
Kids had fun, parents were there, you know, food and everything. It was a wonderful event, and you know, I've got no problem saying I was wrong. It was a good event. So
My 4-year-old and 8-year-old Ayla and Nora were there, and Jen comes up to me. She's like, "Who's that kid in the red hoodie and the other kid, the blonde hair?" I'm like, my natural reaction is, "Why would they do?" And she's like, "No, they're playing the beanbag toss. They were just so great with them, you know, especially with Nora, who's 4 years old. They just did a great job." I'm like, "Good, that's awesome. That's great to hear."
it
So
really was good to see. Thank you, Mr. Jokic.
Mr. Starr, I have quite an honor participation. I don't know if any of you have met Mr. Bohannon. He's in charge of Fort Creve Coeur. I meant to say that under the participation in the audience, but I want to introduce you before he leaves. This is Mr. Fort Creve Coeur.
All right. So,
For those that didn't know him or anything, or what he does in the community.
thank
It's a
you.
worthwhile organization.
Thank you. Is that an accurate representation on the wall? Okay. Well, thank you for holding up that great piece of history. So wonderful. Understand. So thank you. Good.
Moving on to superintendent's results. Awesome, the results, please.
Okay, as you heard, Mr. McCormick, the winter concert are scheduled for December 15th and 16th. December 16th is a board meeting, exactly. And last year we kind of split the board meeting up, and this really didn't work out real well, I didn't think. So there's a couple of reasons why I would like to move it to either the 19th or the 22nd, is because tonight we are, if the board does adopt the resolution for the sale of the bonds, that would be almost the 30 days point in which we could have the hearing on any petitions that might come in from the bond sale. So if you remember, Mr. Crabtree told us that we can have that hearing at any time during those 30 days. You don't have to wait 30 days. You just have to give 30 days notice, and if any petitions come in, then you have to act on them. But it just made more sense to me to, since we have the winter concert there, just to push it to the 19th or the 22nd. The 23rd is a Tuesday, whatever the board might decide, just making that our regular meeting. So
Comments on the 19th being
We're not
further
supposed
away.
to have devices at the board table.
I'm looking at
I'm
a
looking at my
calendar.
calendar.
And I was that one day and you told me not to have a device at the board table.
Okay, I can't meet any other night then, because I can't look at my calendar.
That's fine, but I'm just saying what you told
Do
me.
you want to get up and go?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Break. What day is school out for break?
This is 20. Something.
the 19th is the last day.
Is it a good idea then to have a meeting once school's been out? Because a lot of the parents are gonna start traveling and not be able to attend if they would want to. I mean, we've
As
been
long as-
crucified before for having meetings at inappropriate times. That's why I'm asking.
So the
Well, we're giving-
19th would be a better date because they're still in town. They've been in
Well, I don't know,
town.
a lot of people leave the minute the kid gets out of school, you know.
I can't.
Either way,
You can't be at either one.
but as long as you've got, you know, your 4 people, you're good.
Okay.
That's great.
Do you have a different date? The 19th, I think, was a Thursday.
No,
The
19th is
19th is
Friday.
a Friday. It's a Friday.
18th to be Thursday.
I
So
can,
you said the 19th or the 22nd?
Yes.
I can only do the 19th.
And I can only do the 19th.
19th is fine. We'll make it the 19th. I'm sorry, the three of you might not be able.
Understand.
Okay. We'll change that December meeting then to the 19th.
Just want to be able to make plenty of, today's the 18th, so we'll have 30 days notice for changing a regular board meeting, and we'll get that notice out tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right. The design team meeting. The design team, if you remember, is the Student Growth Committee, the Student Growth Joint Committee. I attached the agenda for the second meeting and the minutes. I didn't put the minutes in there, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
No.
Meeting
Where are
one.
they?
Then meeting
What the
2
heck
has the
happened to
agenda.
this thing?
There's still one more minute to go.
No, it's there. The meeting 2 agenda is near the front, and the design team, October 27th, meeting 1. Minutes are there from the design team. I don't know why this thing is all out of kilter like this, but we'll take care of it. So essentially, what we came down to is we determined, and the group all agreed, that we would start with a 30% student growth rate for teacher evaluation. So instead of, the law says that we have to have 25% the first year, 25% the second year, and 30% the third year. Bless you. With discussions that we had with the design team, and we looked at the data that the percentage levels and how the charts fell out, 30% was really where the real cutoff began. There was a real difference between 25 and 30%, but there wasn't as much of a difference between 30% and the increments. If you remember, I was a proponent for 50%. It should be 50%, that's what it should be, that's what we should be looking at, and when I looked at the data, it didn't pan out that way. It didn't show that that was the best decision for student growth in the evaluation, because it didn't matter. Actually, it was the way that the numbers fall out, it was kind of a disadvantage to the school district. All right, and the numbers that the number of excellent evaluations that fell into the categories, there was at the 50% level, there were 3 areas that you could get an excellent, and in the other 2, there were 2 areas where you could get excellent. So 30% was what we as a team agreed upon to start with. And we would start at 30% rather than going 25, 25, 30. And so that was a real positive from the teachers' perspective, from my perspective on what the teachers did, because they didn't want to start at one level and then have, go a couple years and then, have to readjust. I don't know that it's that big of a deal, but they felt that it was. To readjust to a higher percentage would then make it more difficult, so they would just as soon just be one flat percentage across the board and not do the increments. So I grabbed onto that, and it is in the works now. We've set that aside, and we'll start looking at our assessments and the types of assessments that we'll use for each teacher and each category of teacher as their student growth instruments. So what it all means, 30% of a teacher's evaluation will now consist of student growth data. So the goals that are agreed upon between the design team and, well, agreed upon in the design team, those goals that we want for student growth will then account for 30% of a teacher's evaluation. And the other 70% is teacher professional performance. So it really comes down to accountability in the teaching profession now in a scientific manner. No longer is it just, we think you're doing a great job as a teacher. We're now saying, okay, we can show that you're doing a great job as a teacher, or that there are areas that we need you need some assistance with, and we're here to help you with that. So that's the design team. I thought it was a good meeting. Any questions on student growth? Is the board, are you comfortable with what I'm saying when I come to the meetings with this? Or do you need more information? Do you want more documentation? Do you want, you have your, the binders, those of you who kept them. That's what we looked at when we were making these decisions. Also, you'll see that on the district tab website, you'll see it's district, and then it goes down, and underneath district it has, superintendent, right? What is it?
There's a district tab.
District tab.
And then dropping down from there, there's superintendent, and then there's teacher space, and then from teacher space, it goes over to subdivisions of teacher space, ELA, math, general. Those are under the general.
Okay, great. All of the documentation we're putting on the website. So Holly and I have been working back and forth as we've been creating this. So in the district tab, you can go over and go down. You'll see I've called it teacher space. All right, so as I have research, as we come up with new ideas, I put the agendas, I put the meeting minutes for the staff to see. There's no reason for this to be done in a back room. They want to know about it. They're nervous about it. I attended the staff meeting this afternoon, and the teachers are still nervous about it, even though we've said that this is for the betterment of our students, and it's not a club to beat teachers over the head with. They're still nervous about it, and they will be until we use it a couple times. So we're trying to minimize that anxiety as much as possible, get them all the information that we have. I'm not going to force it on them, but I tell them when we put something new up, and they can go and research it and look at it as they want. So it's there, and there's no reason for anyone to be able to come back and say, well, I didn't know. Well, there's no reason you shouldn't have known, because it's all been in front of you. So that's our plan, and so we'll keep going. And if I encourage board members to go to that tab too and look around and see what's what, and ask questions. And because I'd rather have questions and answers than people not being comfortable in the things that we're talking about. So, okay. Press policy discussion. All right. What I'd like to do is get a directive on where the board would like to go and a preference for adopting and discussing, reviewing the press policy. All right, just didn't seem like the way, people weren't real satisfied with the way it was being presented previously. So I just opened that up and asked the board, how would you like to do it?
Well, could we look at one topic maybe once a month and like review it? And get it out of the way and look at the next one or something? Is that?
Well, I thought that's what our community, or our committee of the whole meetings were supposed to be, instead of becoming meetings twice a month. I mean, honestly, we've been having, our committee of the whole meetings have turned into meetings, like real meetings, where we vote on stuff and et cetera. And I thought the committee of the whole meetings were supposed to be used for things such as press policy, et cetera.
Maybe we should just get back to that though,
I agree with Juliet, that's something too.
But I mean, if every month we have a couple in our thing, why couldn't we just do
We
that?
haven't any, have we? Did I miss them?
No.
we're a year behind.
Yeah, I
Last one we
we've
did
had
was
it for a
October
while.
2013. Well, there's been a lot of stuff going on, so maybe we could just get back to.
I don't know. I mean, I was just wondering, if we did a few every month, then we could knock them out and get them done, or,
It takes a 3 meeting, and to discuss it in the COW meeting would be much better. And then it's presented as a first reading and a second reading then in the next month, 2 months. So it does take a while to process it,
but wasn't it, was how we were doing it before was when you presented it the first time and we discussed it, that was the first reading.
Right.
And that was what was not liked, was because they wanted the 3 meeting thing.
You have, I thought you have to vote on it again. You have to have a first reading and agree to it. I mean, you have to do it that way. You just can't read it and vote on it and pass it. She
Right,
knows
there is a
that.
30 days.
She's saying, how about the 3rd meeting though? Discussing it as.
There's no reason to have a discussion meeting, a meeting to read it the first time, and then a meeting to have it a second time. Why can't the first meeting where we discuss it be the meeting where you do all the changes, you discuss it, and then you approve the first reading?
Because that's the committee of the whole meeting. And what you're doing is approving a first reading of the policies. So that has to be done at a regular meeting. So that's where we get.
Okay, so what did you mean by it wasn't like how we were doing it? Because I honestly, it's been so long since we've done one, I don't remember how we were
Right.
doing it.
How would you like to do it? And that is, you know, if we do it with the committee of the whole, okay? And we review at the committee of the whole. Those revisions are brought to the regular meeting, the next regular meeting, in 2 weeks. There you can have your first reading. They sit for 30 days. You have your second reading and approval at your second regular meeting, because they have to sit for 30 days
Okay.
between the two.
So do a few at a committee of the whole? I just did not like, a few years ago, when we did like a stack this big, and that's all we did, was policies. It got a little like,
But we're behind now. We're gonna
So
have
we
to
might have
catch
to
up. You've got, what is it, quarterly, 4 times a year they come out?
It is sporadic. It's not on a set time schedule. It depends on the legislature and when they approve things and when the time frames of when JCAR gets the actual regulations out. Is the law effective immediately, or is it effective July 1st or January 1st? So it comes out, you know, on a sporadic basis. So
So not bringing the whole stack to us would be good, if that's the case. But you don't have a whole stack anyway, right?
There have been two press policy submissions since we did our last reading. And there are a number of policies to be reviewed by the Board of Education. Not a, I mean, I don't know, not an outrageous amount, but yeah, like last time, there's a stack like last time. And you don't want that, so.
No, it's not that I don't want that.
I'm not saying you either.
I'm saying, you know, I'm hearing, well, we haven't done it since 2013 or whatever, so I'm thinking, you know, do we have an entire book to go through? Obviously not. Obviously, if there's only been 2 releases, then we don't have a million to go through, so, I don't understand why we can't just do them every meeting, do 2 or 3 and just get them done. Or have the next committee of the whole meeting, that's all we do, is policy. But there's policies in that book that hasn't been changed since 1980s, too, honestly.
Right.
I really think, and I've been saying this since I was elected, that entire book needs to be gone through.
But not every policy has to change at any certain time, if there's no changes to it.
Yeah, but if we don't know whether a policy is handwritten by the district or whether it was from press, how are we supposed to know whether they
I
were?
think it'd be a great idea to review the whole book. I've always said that.
We did that a number of years ago.
Yes, we did, and everybody knew policy and they knew what was in it.
We started at the front of the book and we did chapter a meeting. It was not fun, but
I went through the entire book
So
2
did
years
I.
ago and read every
Yeah, I
single
read
thing
it
that was
too.
in there and
Sure.
went through every single policy, and there's policies in there from the 1980s.
I agree.
And some policies were
The
reviewed.
1990s.
It says 1980s, but if you look down below, some of
No.
them were reviewed.
And some of them
haven't,
aren't.
and some of them haven't. But I mean, there are some that have been
But
reviewed.
if press hasn't come out with them and the board hasn't taken the time to go through them, I
It
agree.
says it
But it's gonna be some long meetings.
there. Right.
Well, it may end up having to be like extra type meetings too, instead of one, because there's other business to be done at committee of the whole meetings too. I mean, unfortunately, you just kind of run out of time.
Right.
So what I'm hearing is that we do want you to present them to us, Mr. Aldridge, but maybe in a manner that's not overwhelming and overburdened because of all the other
I guess I did.
things that we have to do. Is that what
And-
you're in agreement on?
I didn't have a problem with that this time.
I didn't, I mean, I'm just fine.
I don't either. I just need to know whether, I mean, I guess what I was thinking was the entire book. I mean, that would be a little overwhelming, but if we break up the book and go through it, or go through what we need to right now for the press policies, and then get on a schedule of maybe going through the book.
Sure,
I don't know.
sure. You know, there's no problem. And that's why I'm asking the question, because I'd just like to know, you know, how do we want to approach it? And what is it that your need from me, so that we can move forward. So that's great. You know, at the committee of the whole, I heard Mrs. Cagle say one topic, one area. Was that right?
That's just what I said.
Right. And sometimes there aren't any new policies to an area. Okay. Sometimes they don't have any for Article 2, organization of the board, or anything like that. You know, sometimes they have a lot to different areas. Students usually have quite a few.
How many new ones there are?
A lot of them are regulations, and a lot of them are just word changes and
So
stuff.
nothing terribly major?
Right, but it still needs to be reviewed and gone through. So do I have a number off my top? No, I don't, but
So could we get them done at one committee of the whole meeting and get caught up with what was released?
it would, it's hard to say yes. There are a number of them, and there are a number of regulations and a number of administrative procedures, not regulations, administrative procedures, and a number of policies that need to be reviewed. Could we do it in 1 minute or one meeting? Probably not if you're don't want to be here well into the evening, but 2 meetings, yes.
Well, as I recall, we're very nitpicky on the words that we use in those press policies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, we get very tied up on the certain terms or whatever that we use. I mean, I've only looked at a few of them, so, because we've only done this a couple times. But I know we get caught up on the words that we use.
Well, I think it's a great idea to get caught up with what we have, with what I have, and to go through and do a review on, just do a section at a time. Once we're caught up, and just do a section at a time, and just do a review and read through them again.
Okay. I still think at some point that it'd be easy to have that sucker online. I know that we all like paper, but you have that thing online, just have
It
that
is actually
immediately
online.
updated.
But I believe it costs, doesn't it, to have it online?
$1,200.
$1,200.
To have yours, but you can get all the press policies, I guess, offline.
But not ours.
Not
how
ours,
we have it
right,
updated.
Correct. So the books that everyone has now are the most up to date. So as we review and adopt new ones, you'll just need to insert the new ones. I'll adopt some kind of color scheme so that we have a different color for each one, and we will go from there.
Start cutting away.
So what was the decision?
It sounds like we're gonna get caught up on what's released, and then we're gonna take a section at a
2.
time.
2 meetings?
Couple of meetings. Depends on how nitpicky we get.
And then from
If we
there,
can
do a
get through it.
section at a time? And update that sucker
Well,
then.
yes, we do get nitpicky.
Well, that wasn't, I'm just saying, we're not gonna be able to do it in one night. It's gonna take a meeting or two to get that done.
We don't know how long it's gonna take, because we don't know how many's out there.
Right.
And what changes are in them.
Right. It might take 4 meetings, 5 meetings.
And to me, it's still a 3-step process.
It is.
You've got to review them, then you've got to have a first reading. Because when you review them, you may not all agree, and you're not gonna know if there's not a motion. And you have the first reading and then the second reading, so you're talking 3 meetings. Am I correct? Is that what we decided?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he said.
We're saying 2 meetings as to do the policies, not 2 meetings to do.
Our committee of the
To
whole.
get
They're gonna break them up into 2 sections.
Yeah.
To read.
So we're gonna do, the first set will take 3 meetings, the second set will take 3 meetings. I believe we're behind 3 sets, aren't we?
No, he said 2.
He said 2.
I was thinking it was a, I was thinking it was one up there.
That'll be the
I'll go check.
So does that bring clarity?
I think so.
All righty.
For me, good. And then we will just do an article per month, and once we've gone through it, then we have reviewed, and then we may not have anything to review again, as we go through all of through the entire book and get back to the start. There may not be anything to review the next time, so. Sounds like a great idea, great plan. Great. Okay, the next page. I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, presentation of the tentative tax levy. All right. The tentative tax levy is on the second page, you can see there. This is our educational amounts, our property tax levy for the various funds that the district uses to run the school district. The numbers that are here are the numbers here are the limits that we have, and you can see on the next page how we came up with those numbers, or how the county clerk came up with these numbers, actually. So you'll see education. If you look at the landscape document, education, our 2014 extension was $776,364, which gives us a tax rate of $1.35.981. Okay. You'll see that the maximum rate is $3.50. That's the maximum rate that a school district can levy for, but obviously we are in a tax cap situation, and so we get the actual rate that the county clerk and county assessor's office give us. You'll see the CPI increase of the prior extension. CPI, the Consumer Price Index, is the very bottom on the left-hand side, the shaded in box. It says CPI down there, and CPI for the extension is 1.70. So the Consumer Price Index, or the increase, standard of living, or cost of living increase, is 1.7%. So that's what 1.7% of our prior extension gets us. Now that comes to our limiting rate, which is $1.34.61, or $1.3461, however you want to look at it. And that is our limiting rate, as much as we can go under our tax cap. And you'll see the new dollar growth, $2,394.42. That gives us, it's a CPI, and then our limited rate, that's our dollar growth, and then our total levy amount is $791,956, and the overall rate, and you'll see the levy amount, 1.3854 is the rate there. Comes up to $815,104.75. All right, so the maximum, not the maximum, but yes, the maximum that we can levy is 4.99%. Because of being a tax cap community, we cannot go over 5% without having a referendum in a tax levying situation. So we go all the way across. You look at your operation and maintenance fund. Last year, the actual extension was $122,282. We go across, get our CPI. You look at the limiting rate. Our new dollar growth, $377, and it comes across total levy amount, and the 4.99 levy amount would be $128,384. So when you go straight down and you look at the total aggregate there, if you look at the new growth dollars, and you look all the way to the bottom, total aggregate, the total of the new growth dollars is $4,363. That's your total increase from last year. your property tax levy. $4,000.
So since we're going to sell bonds or thinking about that, how is that going to affect our tax levy for next year?
Okay, good question. If you look at, on the left-hand side, it says bonds. Under total aggregate, it says bonds, right? Totals and total tax rate. Okay, so you look at, I'm sorry, that's the totals. If you look at bonds, it's $219,296.13. And the actual rate is 37.275 cents is our rate. That's the 37 cents that we had talked about in the bond selling. Right now, it's set at 219,269, or 296, I'm sorry, because that's going to be our last payment for the bond coming due and finishing out. So we sell these or we approve the resolution tonight to sell the bonds, and at the $1.32 million over the 7-year rate, the rate doesn't change. It stays at 3.7 or 3.6. The actual stays the same. There will be no increase to the taxing, to the income tax final rate. Okay? There will be no increase in that rate to anyone's real estate taxes because of the amount that, and the term of the bonds, we kept the tax rate the same.
Isn't that what we discussed? When
Yes.
we were discussing the whole bond thing, we said we want whatever we can get without making the taxes go up.
That's exactly the discussion we had, right?
But we'll still be able to levy the 5%, up to 5% next year.
Up to 5%, yes ma'am. We look at it 4.99, and so the numbers that we have are 4.99 is the overall total that we try to get on the increase. But we don't get that full increase because of being in the tax cap situation, and there's the limiting rates, so it doesn't come out where you get a full 5%. That's the unfortunate thing. You know, you can levy for as much as you want, and you could levy for, in the education fund, you could go, you know, and levy $3.50, but even if it's passed and you do all those things, it still isn't going to matter because you're in a tax cap situation, and they only go up to that 5%. So bonds next year, we'll see the tax levy next year, and it will read just about $219,296 and whatever the increase might be, a little bit there. So, which is still $23,000 under your capacity to levy. Okay, so the levy extension base, your limited base is $242,000. That's as much as we could levy. We didn't want to go that route. I wanted to keep the tax levy the same. And we did that and then backed into it and found out how much money there would be available at that rate and at that term. So you'll see that when it comes all said and done, your EAV growth, 2013 EAV extended, that's on that left-hand side, the three little columns that are shaded in. Your EAV growth, which is the unshaded box, is 0.004%. So we're flat on your your equalized assessed evaluation of your income, of your real estate property in Creve Coeur is flat. So you're not losing, you're not going backwards. That's a good thing, but there isn't any growth right now in your real estate tax base. So we will place the tentative tax levy on public display, and we will bring it back in December for approval and to be submitted to the county clerk for processing your county real estate taxes.
That will be on the 19th meeting also.
Yes. Yeah, can't do it on the 3rd because you have to have at least 20 days. You don't have to have 30, but you have to have 20 for tentative levy. So that's gonna have to go out that far.
Please don't anybody get sick.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yes. Okay. That's the tentative tax levy. Any questions? So, if and when they ask, you can let the community know. No increases from the school district. Can't speak to any of the other municipalities or taxing bodies, but from the school district, there's no increase. Great.
Thank you, Mr. Aldridge. I'm looking for any more discussion. If not, we're going to move on. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. We need a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Discussion?
I had a question and a comment. It was nice to see other teachers' names in the professional development. I was glad to see different teachers' names. Yes. And a question on check number 16257. Apple. I didn't think we had any Apple products in the district.
Don't we have iPads?
We do?
Yeah, didn't I see something in one of his emails? Some of the teachers got iPads for part of, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
No, you are correct.
Okay.
Check number what? Because
16257.
Page 1.
257. Okay, I was looking at 3.
Apple.
I thought I saw it in some email.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. The, yes, the kindergarten teachers have, we purchased iPads for the kindergarten teachers because of the new kindergarten standards-based assessment or performance-based assessment. Kids, Mr. McCormick talked about going to the training for the kindergarten. It's the new, it's kindergarten, K-I means, what's that?
Individualized developmental assessment.
Thank you. Survey.
Survey.
All right. Kindergarten Individual Developmental Surveys, KIDS. And this is a program just like PARC is for third grade, bless you, third grade on. Kids is for kindergarten right now, okay? And it will be in place and mandated in 2015, in August. So I wanted to get our teachers out in front and let them, they've already had the training. I wanted to get them familiarized with the application, with using the equipment, and they didn't have to be Apple. They could have been an Android type device. The reason for picking Apple devices was that the kids' software and the application for use of the program, the application itself, was written in the OS or the Apple's code. So it's an Apple-based product, and they said, everybody that we talked to in the research that we did, was that, yes, Androids will work, other, Dell or whatever, Samsung tablets, those will work, but there are glitches, and you gotta get patches, and, to make it work, seamlessly. And even then, there were still some issues. So instead of having all those kind of headaches, we just decided to go ahead and purchase the iPads for them so that they had the materials and the equipment they needed to do their jobs starting, using it next year. First day of school, they will start using, this program. Now, it's not going to happen in December like I had hoped, but at a January meeting to bring in the kindergarten staff and let them show you on the smart board what this does and why they are using it. But since it's mandatory next August, I didn't want them to come in on August 16th or 17th and try to have to figure out a new program about assessing our kids the day the kids show up. I wanted to get them out in front and give them the training, the materials, and the equipment they needed to do this. The issue becomes, it's going to be generational. So they're already started with a first grade individualized developmental assessment or survey, whatever they're going to call it. So they're working on a first grade version, and then they'll have a second grade version so that they're able to go from kindergarten to 12th grade on standardized assessments. So that's where this is kind of rolling toward having those early grades assessed as well. So
My limited knowledge is that they're doing portfolios, kind of an object-like, and videos for each child. So that's why the Apple is so applicable. It's got those kind of features on it. My question, though, I know we used to have to be careful of videoing a child. No, they're not concerned about that anymore, huh?
It never goes out in the public.
Okay.
right. So it is an educational based situation. Only those people that have an educational need to see that will be able to see that, unless we have specific releases from the parents. And we do get a standardized release at registration anyway. Not that I'd want to do that, but, and this is going to be focused in on, one child as much as possible and what they're doing, so.
There used to already be a release at registration.
That's what I said.
It's in the handbook.
Right. But because this is so individualized, I would rather, we don't have to, so I guess there's no reason to really talk about it.
So the $948 is for the 4 iPads, and then you've got 2 software purchases for $474 apiece, is that?
Oh, 47401 is remedial programs. Programs, Title I supplies. Those are the cases and keyboard component for them. So.
And there are 4?
3, actually.
3.
3 of them, 3 kindergarten teachers.
Pretty good pricing.
Yeah.
For 3 of
That's what
those.
I was thinking.
Yeah, plus you can update those and it's not an issue compared to getting some of those other machines. They're not, can't integrate them as well.
Are we accepting
still in the sixties, probably.
Could be 50 next year.
I know.
Look at the frost.
The grass should not grow anymore.
But you can see the mowing and trim was October 12th, October 17th, October 17th, so it's really a month ago.
Right, I think there's that.
Could we get a total on what it actually cost us this year? Could you have Shelley pull those numbers together? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it might be cheaper to continue that.
But didn't we discuss this then? We'd also have to have a truck and a trailer.
But we
And
had to
a
see
mower.
which is cheaper.
And a mower, yeah.
And pay benefits.
Yeah.
We don't pay benefits.
Have a
It's an
maintenance
at-will
person.
employee. I mean, it's.
No, it's
as
a
needed.
unionized position.
Yeah.
But I
So
meant,
we can't just eliminate it.
I meant that it's an employee that's not full-time, it's as needed that position. In the union, isn't it? It's not a full-time, we just said this.
It is not a full-time position, but it is a categorized position in the union contract. So it's a union position. It is a union
But they
position.
did get like
It's
insurance
just,
or
just
something.
temporary.
Right, exactly.
Because there was not enough hours, I believe it's
Exactly.
30 hours that they
Right.
have. Any employee has to work 30 hours to be able to be eligible for health benefits.
Right, that's what I mean, so we weren't paying the benefits.
No. Total
Mrs. Bailey, did you get all of yours in?
cost.
Comments, did you bring all your comments?
Yes, I believe I did. That was, I was glad to see that different personnel was getting to go to training.
Yeah,
And
that
do
was
we,
great.
do we have a plan? Like this year, we're going to send all of our teachers for reading, all of our teachers for a discipline. Do we have a plan? Do you and the principals have a plan, I should say?
Our focus this year had to take a change. The beginning was to look at positive behavioral interventions and student success and achievement. When the State Board of Education changed our status to 20% and to be an early implementer, we needed to turn that around, and we have to focus really on giving the staff the training that they need for learning about student growth, how this is going to be implemented, and like that. So we spent November 4th all day at East Peoria Grade School with we went in a cooperative and collaborative agreement with East Peoria and Robine, and we brought in a speaker from the Illinois Association of School Administrators, and he came in to present to the teaching staff about the teacher evaluations and how to earn an excellent evaluation. So telling and informing teachers what is it they need to be focusing on in their classroom instruction, in their teaching, and how that overlays with the evaluations. So now the next thing we will look at is student growth and how this is going to all come together, because now that the design team is moving forward, we'll have things to talk about now, and there'll be more training opportunities as we're going. Now, luckily, we've been very fortunate to have gotten a number of scholarships for teachers to go to some of the training that's here in the county. This is the Regional Office of Education, does some training on all of these foundational topics, they call them. So any of those, they put out a certain amount of money and allow the school districts in the county to write a grant to get some of that money for paying the substitutes, paying for the teachers to go to the training if it's not here in the county, or paying for the registration fees. So we've been fortunate that way to take advantage, and we've gotten a number of those kind of grants as well. So, yeah, it started in one direction, but we got blindsided. We had to make a change.
Do the teachers still have, I haven't heard much of that, do they still have to have those, what are they called?
CDPUs.
Yeah, CDPUs. They still have to have that, so they're still seeking out.
It is
ways
that.
to find those.
It has changed. It's called something different now. It's professional credit hours. Instead of the CPDUs, it's professional credit hours. And yes, they have to continue that, and actually the amount has increased. So it has, the teachers now, where it was, I don't even remember what it was, but it has increased the number of hours that they have to have during their registration period. So it has become a little more stringent. The state board went from certificates to licenses, and they upped the ante and said you have to do even more professional development because of all of these standards that are coming out. They don't want teachers just saying, well, I'm not going to do that. I'll just sit back in my classroom and do whatever I want anyway. Well, you know, the state's putting some restrictions on those things and some mandates on teachers to get out of their classrooms.
So is that a new acronym for us? PCH, is that a new acronym?
What's, what?
You said it went from CPDUs to PCH.
Oh, professional development credits or professional credit hours. No, I don't. I don't think it's a new one yet. Nobody's figured that part out. So it's just this is a matter of, you know, they have to do these things, and not only that, the significance of it is that with the new evaluation system and the student growth, now that we will have these things in place, one of the components of that is going to be a teacher's professional development plan. What is it that, looking at their evaluation, what do they need to focus on? What is it that the principal is seeing that they need to receive more training in, or they need to go see another classroom that does this same kind of exercise or this subject area? So we evaluate, we find whatever the needs are through the evaluation process, and we put together with the teacher and the evaluator a professional development plan, and then that's looked at the following or their next evaluation. Okay, what did you do to live up to this plan? So it becomes a part of the evaluation itself. So it is all coming together. You know, not all the pieces are there, and not all of them are in place, but it's starting to come together.
Thank you. Any further discussion on our motion for the consent agenda? Hearing none, roll call please.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Griner, Brenda Cagle, Val Reagan, Julie Troop,
Aye.
Rebecca Kern, Judy Strong. Motion carried.
Thank you. We need an action item. Motion please. For H1. I'll get it out in a minute.
I make a motion regarding resolution declaring the intentions to issue $1,320,000 working cash fund bonds for the purpose of increasing the district's working cash fund, and directing that notice of such intention to be published in the manner provided by law.
I second.
Discussion? We've kind of had it, but any further?
We're doing this so we can get further bonds, right?
How exact amount? Just curious.
That is the amount, I don't have my Stiefel book.
Recommendation.
The recommendation that we looked at for the 7-year term, and that was it was 1.4 million and a little bit more, but this is taking out the fees, the costs, and all of those things, and so that's going to be our net result. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know.
Sure. And you'll see that the resolution is here, the petition, anyone who is asking, and we'll put this on the website as well, but anyone who is thinking of challenging the bond sale, this is the petition that they need to use, and someone would need to have 359 voters, which is 10% of the registered voters in the district. And that number has been verified and solidified with the county clerk, so we know that that's the true and accurate 10% of registered voters. Since we just had the election, we just made sure. The time frame for filing an objection or petition must be filed with the secretary of the board on or before the 24th day. Whoops, I'm sorry. That's why I don't like the way they wrote this. All right. If such a petition is filed with the secretary within 30 days after the date of publication of this notice and after the 24th day of November 2014, an election on the proposition to issue said bonds shall be held on the 7th day of April 2015. So 30 days from publication, and publication will take place on Thursday in the Pekin Times. And that's Mr. Hyde's company is taking care of all of that. So.
Will that be in like Pekin and Peoria then, or just Tazewell County?
Just the Pekin Times as the newspaper or media of the circulation, general circulation in the bounds of the district. So it doesn't have to be in the Peoria Journal-Star because the Pekin has a big enough circulation. So.
All right, and I believe we're ready for a motion. I mean, not a motion, a roll call.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Brenner,
Present.
Brenda Cagle.
Aye.
Val Reagan,
No.
Julie Troop,
Aye.
Rebecca Kern, aye, Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Board communication.
Yes, this month we had a Freedom of Information Act request from the Union Election Integrity Unit. This is a not-for-profit organization from Columbus, Wisconsin, and they're an independent firm that has been tasked with ensuring union election integrity. To this end, they requested that we send to them a staff absent records for the dates of October 29th through November 4th. Specifically teacher name, years of service, type of absence, sick or vacation. I have no idea what they were wanting this information for. We can't ask, so we just provided it with them, provided it to them as public information, but they are ensuring union election integrity. I wanted to know who's absent. The other part that I just missed writing about is the response from Mr. Giddens to the district's reply to his request for the Illinois Attorney General to review the Open Meetings Act violation that he has made a claim against the school district. So this is his response to what we answered back
Didn't we get
in
this?
April.
He sent us an email. This was in,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Yes, ma'am. But I have to report on it when they come in. At a board meeting, I have to make a report on
Oh,
any
gotcha.
type of FOIA request or.
No, I know that.
Okay.
I thought this was,
It's been in
we said
discussion.
it at the last meeting, so, okay. Sorry.
IASB dinner, Central Illinois Valley Division Governing Meeting, Wednesday, December 3rd. If you're planning to attend, please let Ms. Walton know. The next document is the invoice for Pioneer Valley Books, which is a nonfiction collection series that was purchased by the LaSalle reading interventionists. Patty, do you have those books yet? Not yet? All right. Well, it's just October 30th that they were ordered. So, and there's quite a number of them, so I'm sure they're in shipment. But they have been ordered, and the teachers, Mr. McCormick, at the past staff meeting, made the teachers aware of their grade level amounts. If you remember, there was $496, $472, I don't remember what it was, but for each grade level, and then for each special teacher class, there was $100. But what we forgot, was two special teachers, special content area teachers that we didn't talk about, which was PE and music. So that they didn't feel left out, I just contributed $100 to each of them. So they didn't, so they have it.
Read in their classes?
Hmm?
Do they read in their classes though?
Yeah, they're supposed to start.
Okay.
Yes, they are. That's the thing about, the Common Core and, our new Illinois Learning Standards is incorporating reading and math into the other content areas, PE included. Yep.
So this is the final bill then?
Yes, there'll be little ones trickling in as the teachers, each grade level purchases their materials. So. That's all I have for that.
Completes board communication. Can we have a motion, please, for executive session?
I make a motion to enter into closed session to discuss the compensation of specific employees of the public body, 5 Illinois CS 120/2. Do I have to read that?
Not necessarily.
No.
Second.
Okay.
All right, roll call, please.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Griner,
Aye.
Brenda Cagle, Val Reagan, Julie Troop,
Aye.
Rebecca Kern, Judy Strong.
I believe the time would be 7:34. You're right. All right, can we have a motion, please, to resume regular session?
I'll make the motion to resume regular session at 8:15.
12 according to that.
12.
8:12. Okay, thank you. Second?
go. Roll call. Linda Bailey.
Aye.
Pam Griner.
Aye.
Brenda Cagle.
Aye.
Val Reagan. Julie Troop. Rebecca Kern. Aye. Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We'd like a motion, please, for L1.
I make a motion regarding the non-union support staff salary. Motion to accept the recommendation from the superintendent to provide salary increases as presented of 2%.
I second.
Do you want to say revised to 2%? Because 2%
Revised.
was not presented.
As revised to 2%, sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't his recommendation, actually.
I'm sorry. I'll read it again. The motion regarding the non-union support staff salary, motion to accept the revised recommendation. Revised recommendation?
Just the revised.
The
because
revised.
he has recommended.
The revised salary increases of 2%, sorry.
Board discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Linda Bailey.
No.
Pam Griner.
No.
Brenda Cagle.
Yes.
Val Reagan.
No.
Julie Troop.
Aye.
Rebecca Kern. Aye. Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We need a motion, please, to adjourn.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
And roll call, please.
Linda Bailey.
Aye.
Pam Griner.
Aye.
Brenda Cagle.
Aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Julie Troop.
Aye.
Rebecca Kern. Aye. Judy